Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Bruce Carrington, little Shu Shu, all grown up. Think he's married now? Who would have thought, man? Little young Bruce Shu Shu, I was watching when he wasn't even 10 years old. I was overseas in Korea, I think. Kept seeing these videos of this little kid. The trainer was sitting in a chair. The little kid was hitting the mitts and talking about how he's going to win the championships and shit. That shit went viral. All of us were talking about, yo, y'all seen the little guy, man, missing a tooth and shit. And then fast forward many years later, and all of a sudden I keep hearing this name again, Shu Shu. I'm like, yo, I know that name. Yeah, he just won something and Top Rank signed him. I'm like, yeah? I'm like, that's the kid, the little kid. I'm like, damn, time flies. And just like that, here we are. Bruce Shu Shu Carrington, January 31st. It's in a championship fight. All that hard work paid off, man. And this is more than just another bout on the schedule. Like, this is really for Bruce Carrington, someone who a lot of us have followed since he was a kid. It's a career-defining moment that answers the biggest question surrounding him. Is he just a talented prospect, or is he a real champion ready to carry American boxing into the next era? Now, for years, Carrington has been talked about as the future. The stylish Brooklyn technician with the confidence, the mouth, and the skills to back it up. January 31st. Sorry for laughing, man. I just couldn't help but think about when he was sitting there talking, trying to, recite Mike Tyson's profound, I'm the most vicious, the something, Lennox Lewis is no Alex, no conqueror, I'm the conqueror. I'm the most something ever. My style is impetuous, my something's impregnable. Just want to eat your kids. Praise be to Allah. And I was sitting here thinking about when Bruce Carrington said that shit. Oh my God, man. Can't even get through the goddamn video. But he's the stylish Brooklyn technician with the confidence, the mouth, and the skills to back it up, right? January 31st is going to be a real deal moment, boy, where the talk either turns into hardware and legitimacy in the Wu-Tang cream, cha-ching ching. Or where reality pushes back and demands adjustments, saying that he wasn't ready. Let me tell you about this moment and why it matters so much. Championship fights expose everything, man. Conditioning, discipline, defense, mental toughness, ego control, adaptability. There's nothing that hides over 12 rounds. Everything's going to get exposed. For Shu Shu, Bruce Carrington, this fight is the end of the prospect phase. No more, not saying any of his fights were easy. No more gimme fights, no more tune-up fights. No more this learning bullshit. No more forgiving opponents. From here on out, he's either a title holder or a contender chasing one. What makes this moment so important is timing, man. Carrington is not being rushed, but he's also not being protected. This is that sweet spot where a fighter's confidence is very high. His body's fresh and the hunger is still sharp. January 31st, where top-ranking boxing fans find out if their belief was justified, if the investment was worth it. You see, Carrington's style, I see it like skill with an attitude. Yo, he really is, no kidding, a pure boxer puncher. And that's what separates him from many fighters in the lower weight classes. He doesn't just dance around and survive and coochie coo tickle and chicken peck, you know what I mean? He's not a chicken coochie tickler. That's not him. Or chicken that tickles the coochie. That's not him in the ring. He controls space. Uses footwork, but not to escape, not to become a boxer runner, but to set traps. He wants opponents reaching, making them miss, and making them pay. His jab is the foundation of everything he does. It's not just a scoring tool, it's a measuring stick, a distraction, and a setup for big-time combinations, man. Carrington's ability to jab to the body early and often is a major reason why opponents fade against him as rounds go on. But check this out, right? What I notice about him and what stands out for me is the offense, of course, but his comfort under pressure. Comfort under pressure. Carrington, he doesn't panic when opponents get close. He'll roll, he'll pivot, he'll counter, then he talks. That confidence, borderline arrogance, is part of who he is, and January 31st will test whether that swagger stays intact when a championship opponent refuses to fold. Because you better believe it ain't going to be easy. Now, as far as the opponent, why this isn't a walkthrough type fight, just understand this. Championship opponents don't show up to be impressed. Whoever stands across from Shu Shu on January 31st, coming with survival instincts, desperation, belief in their skills. Titles will change behavior. Fighters dig deeper, take more risk, and endure more punishment when gold is on the line. This shit ain't fool's gold. This is likely an opponent who understands how to rough things up, slow the pace, and test Carrington physically. Because no one's really tested him physically like that, try to grind him down. Someone willing to lean, clinch, push, force uncomfortable exchanges, and even foul him. That's exactly the kind of fight who asks real questions. That's exactly the kind of fight that will ask real questions. And it takes a real fighter to get in there and do that so we can get answers from what many people feel is a polished boxer puncher. And that's Bruce Carrington. But if there's any danger for Shu Shu, it's not that he lacks skills or that he's not prepared. One thing about them boys from New York, man, especially the Brooklyn fighters, man. Let me drink this coffee before I say this bullshit. Overconfidence. Confidence over confidence. That is the danger when it comes to Bruce Carrington. Overconfidence. Championship fights punish fighters who assume talent alone is enough. Let me tell you, you just look at Zab Judah. In my opinion, Zab Judah should have never lost any fight. But that overconfidence and not being prepared the way he should have been. That's why conditioning, the real championship test, man. Everyone looks good for 4 rounds, 6 rounds, front runners. Champions are revealed in rounds 9 through 12. Carrington has showed solid conditioning previous fights, but January 31st introduces a new variable, championship pacing. Fighting at a measured tempo while staying mentally sharp for 36 minutes is different than dominating prospects early. This is where Carrington's discipline matters. Will he stay patient if a stoppage doesn't come? Will he continue to jab, move, and box instead of chasing highlights? You know, this is important. It's going to show that maturity that we're hoping that he has. You know, these moments separate fighters who will win belts from fighters who keep belts. One thing to win a belt, can you keep it? That's when the real deal starts. Shit ain't easy, man. It's just all a mental game. You know, talkers will get tested, man, and Carrington's outspoken. He's confident. He embraces the spotlight. You know, that's a gift. That's a great quality. But it also paints a target. Championship pressure magnifies everything. One bad round feels like 3. One mistake feels like disaster. And I'm telling you, on January 31st, that shit is going to test Carrington's ability to stay composed when the fight doesn't go perfectly. Can he reset? Can he stay focused? Can he adjust mid-fight? Can he listen to his corner when the adrenaline is high? Can the corner keep his composure? You know, these are the invisible skills, man, that don't show up on highlight reels, but they decide careers. Makes you wonder what the strategy is going to be. How Carrington should win this fight. The the blueprint for Carrington is clear, but not easy. It's just a boxer puncher, man. Control the distance. Stay behind the jab. Go to the body early. Don't fall in love with power shots. Because we've seen guys land hard shots early in fights and hurt the opponent down the stretch. Conditioning shows up for the opponent and not for them, and they lose the goddamn fight. But make the opponent work every second. Let frustration do the damage. If Carrington boxes intelligently, he can win rounds cleanly and convincingly, draining his opponent's energy while building momentum. I really think that's the key. Stoppage may come late or it may not come at all, but dominance matters more than drama in a championship fight. It's almost like going out here and dealing with the police. Just get home safe. In boxing, just get the win. You know what I'm saying? But he's so offensive-minded. I think there's a little bit of a danger zone there for him because he could get caught. The danger for Carrington, probably not from the outside. He got long arms. Probably the inside, man, the inside exchanges. Lapses in focus. If he's admiring his work, staying too long in the pocket, or allows himself to be smothered, momentum can swing. It can swing big time, man. Championship opponents capitalize on small mistakes. One lazy exit, one mistimed pivot, one drop guard. That's all it takes to turn confidence into urgency. The fight demands maturity, not flash. And that's why if he gets the win, I think he's going to mean something really, really great for his career, not just the money, but as far as him, his legacy, and getting a step closer to being, talked about in a Hall of Fame career. But it all starts on January 31st. He's got to win, especially in a commanding fashion. If he can do that, his career enters a new tier overnight. He goes from talented prospect to legitimate champion with market value. That opened doors to unifications, main event slots, international recognition, and real pressure. It also makes him a target. Everyone's going to want a piece, and, they should. Everybody wants to fight the champion. Everybody wants to fight for the title. But, that's the price of success, and it's the reward. And he should be, handsomely compensated with that Wu-Tang cream. Cha-ching, ching. Dollar bill, y'all. So the prediction, expect a competitive fight early. Carrington's opponent tests him physically, tests him mentally. But as the rounds progress, Carrington's composure, jab, ring IQ should begin to separate him. By the championship rounds, the fight likely tilts clearly in Carrington's favor. So my prediction, look, I can't help but go with Shu Shu. I don't care who he's fighting. I'm rooting for Shu Shu. Bruce Carrington will probably win by late stoppage or unanimous decision, proving he belongs at championship level, but also showing areas he must sharpen to stay there. And it comes with the territory. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, no more prospects. Bruce Carrington's championship test. That's what we talked about. That's what we explained. And we're going to see just what kind of test he's taking when he gets in there with his opponent on 31 Jan. No hype, real boxing talk in the breeze.